Okay, and we are back with more college football 26 Air Force Dynasty here with episode 8. We just lost the Idaho Potato Bowl versus Liberty in a snowy game, but we are here to try and pick up at least hopefully a few transfers and see how this transfer portal thing goes. I haven't done an off-season yet. This is the first one I've done in college football 26. Okay, so I think we will put a few more points here into the quarterback transfer one, and hopefully, potentially, we'll be able to bring in somebody who can really run. That would be nice. Here we are looking at players leaving. Let's see how many guys are going to transfer away. Not too bad, I guess only 6 guys. Let's see, hopefully we can get Owen to reconsider. He probably would be my top target here as the fullback. And Owen Allen has decided to not return. And let's see, I think it's kind of weird to have a guy that's like a 70 overall looking at pro potential. That's kind of weird. But hey, let's see if we can bring back a couple of these guys. Kyle Chen has not been persuaded. He was a pretty big player for us last year. He made a lot of really good plays. Let's see. We did get the defensive tackle Rawls to return. Now, Lindsley is a pretty big one. He is the only returning running back on the team, so it doesn't really make sense that he would be looking at playing time because we just had everyone else in the team graduate. Hopefully he will return. He is not returning. So with that, we only have the 3 running backs re-signed in recruiting, plus anybody else we bring in the offseason. Well, I guess maybe we could try to get DeMarcus Thompson to come back. He is going to decide to come back. Then Shamir Booth is another one. He likes playing style. He is going to stay. With that, we only have 3 guys who are going to stay. It looks like, yeah, the blue ones are staying, it looks like, and the rest of them are going to be leaving. Kind of unfortunate. We're going to lose a few solid players that we were hoping on using next season. Alrighty, well, at least we brought some of the guys back. I did tune down the transfer thing a little bit because people were saying that basically there were like five stars in the transfer portal every year, and I don't think that's like super realistic unless they're on a terrible team. But here we are looking at the draft result. I would be really surprised if anybody got drafted. Oh, wow. Peyton Zroik has been drafted. That's really cool. I didn't realize he was really even in consideration as an 88 overall. That's really nice. That will help our pro potential a tiny bit. And yeah, looking at this recruiting class so far, we have the 3 4-star running backs who we didn't scout, but they all have A+ playing time, so I'm pretty sure they're going to be solid for us. Then we have Ken Fenderson, who committed. Pretty good finesse rusher. Then we had this power rusher athlete type, Jimmy Doss. Only a 71 power move, but he has really high strength and he can move. Good speed there. Then this edge defender. Didn't really know everything, but we were trying to save scouting points here, so really just knowing he has a good power move and strength tells me that he's probably good enough to play for us. Then we had this linebacker, one of the better recruits we brought in so far. And also this offensive lineman, Bryce Handy, left tackle, has good playing time. We don't really know much else. And now it looks like Tucker Sanders is no longer considering our team, even though we are the top school and the only team to offer him a scholarship. Because of our pro potential, we're going to have to remove him, looks like. That's unfortunate. Well, we do have Dalton here, Ornstein. Probably more of a run defending guy. Does have A+ playing time. We did not scout him. Then we have this left guard we did not scout. Okay, so looking at our recruiting here, we definitely need to bring in a center, something I completely overlooked. Maybe potentially a transfer, but we do not have a center on the team currently. And then we also have kicker and punter. We will have to bring in a kicker and a punter at some point here. Hopefully there will be somebody. All right, well, looking at centers, there is a 3-star here who is considering our school as a transfer. And then we also have this high schooler here, Alfonso Arma. So we will add both of these guys and probably go pretty hard on them, hopefully get them. Okay, and also looking here at the 4-star prospects, there is this guy, Josh Nash, who doesn't currently have an offer from any school as a 4-star. So yeah, we will definitely potentially look at bringing him in, and then we're going to look at a couple quarterbacks here. Hopefully one of these guys would be a nice option attack quarterback, potentially. Okay, and looking in the transfer portal, there is this guy here, Smith Snowden. Looks like a really good corner prospect. We're definitely going to be going after him, as well as Philip Lee. Hopefully one of these guys will commit to us. That would be really nice. Okay, and looking at Smith here, he is definitely a very good player, probably one of the top players on our board at the moment. We also have Philip Lee here, who Georgia is interested in. He's a pretty fast defensive lineman with a lot of tools. Definitely going to try to get him. So we will go full 50 points on both of those guys. Then we also have Josh Nash, who I don't know much about. He doesn't look insanely good, but he still would be one of the best guys on our team. So I think we're going to go for him as well. This guy looks like a pretty solid finesse blocker. So we definitely will be going after him as one of the top prospects on our board right now. Then we also have Alfonso Arma, another player here who definitely can block in the run game, at least looks like, and has a 73 pass blocking, so he's probably not too bad either on that side. I wouldn't be opposed to bringing in 2 centers. We'll see how that works. Okay, and luckily there is a kicker and a punter in the transfer portal that we might be able to get, hopefully. You have 1-star AJ Windsor, who has 90 kick power. And Stone Harrington here. Another 1-star, has 86 kick power, not too bad. I wish it was a little better, but definitely worth going after at this point. We waited long enough and pretty much have to go after these guys. Hopefully we'll get both of them. Okay, and then we had these 2 transfer quarterbacks. We're just hoping one of these guys was kind of fast. I'm not really sure if they are, though. Oh, actually, Danny Wenning is not a transfer guy. Okay, this is a high school player. Didn't even realize that. We will offer him a scholarship and advance the week here. Okay, let's see how this recruiting board is looking after 1 week of the transfer portal. So far, so good. Definitely looking good for this Smith Snowden guy, a very good cornerback. And also this edge rusher, Philip Lee. Now Josh Nash is going to have some competition, looks like, with Kansas. Okay, we will add 10 points here to Tim Griggs. We have scheduled quite a bit of visits now. Let's see, we had a few week 2 visits, so we could get a few more recruits to sign. Okay, we will get Smith Snowden on a week 4 visit, looks like. Alright, and luckily that center we really wanted does like academic prestige, so that should help us out, hopefully. Scheduled a bunch more visits with some of these lower rated players that maybe just need that last push. Head to week 4. This is the last week of recruiting here. And looks like we got a commit now for Lawrence Gooch, as well as Joseph Miles, the wide receiver. And Ryan Blum, one of the centers, as well as Berlin Lilliard. Also AJ Windsor, the punter, and probably the kicker. There we go. Stone Harrington all have committed. That is beautiful. Pretty nice. That is a lot of the recruits we were really going for there. And now we have a week 4 visit with Snowden. We are in first place. Philip Lee, we do not have a week 4 visit. Looks like Tulane may pass us at the last second there. Hopefully we can get a scheduled visit here with Josh Nash. No, we cannot. We're not going to have the opportunity It looks like we're just going to lose out on Josh Nash then. Okay, we found a few more high schoolers here who had just not received a scholarship yet. So at this point, I'm just going to send the house with all of them and see if this works. We might be able to get all 4 of these guys, I guess. Don't really know if they're good or not, but at this point, there's not a lot of guys who haven't signed yet. So we'll just offer these 4 a scholarship and send the house on them. See if we're any, and yeah, see if we get any surprises with that potentially. Alrighty, so looking at our board here, it's pretty much looking like we're probably going to get everyone on the board. So let's just go ahead and simulate to the end of the recruiting here. I think there's only really one guy we might not get, the defensive end, who Tulane was going after. So it should be a ton of recruits here. Got Junior, we got Darnold, the tight end. We have Dom Bond, the freshman quarterback. Mike DeVoe is another freshman. We have Tim Griggs, one of the receivers, lowly rated, I think. A lot of these guys are the lowly rated players we had that we were looking at. Emmanuel Atwell, I think that's somebody we just added. Didn't even scout him. Oscar Chisholm was a pretty solid player. Philip Lee, that was the edge rusher that Tulane was trying to get. We stole a 4-star from them. And Smith Stoden looks like he's going to be a really good player for us. That is awesome. A couple of 1-stars here that we just added at the very end. And we did come away with a very large recruiting class. 35? Yeah, we came away with 35 guys. No, we did not. Josh Nash. Okay, Josh Nash. Tyler Ligdy. 33. Okay, so we came away with 33 guys. That's pretty solid. We had to, with 32 seniors leaving, we had to get a huge class. So a lot of 3-stars, though. We did have a couple 4-stars in there. Let's see. This is probably in the 30s. Yes, the 34th ranked. Only 5 4-stars. No 5-stars, obviously. Didn't even really try at a 5-star. And yeah, I would say that's pretty good for the first recruiting class of college football 26. And yeah, so apparently from what I'm seeing online, you do not want to ever change somebody's position. Under position changes, it just completely nerfs their ability to get better. Basically, you can take a 5-star player who has skill caps to be a 90 overall, and it will change them to never get higher than like a 72, just from going from like strong safety to free safety, or left end to right end or something. So at least currently the way the game is right now, until this is patched, you do not want to change anyone's position, and that includes your athletes. And what I'm going to do is just allow the computer to do that. So I'm not actually making any position changes. I'm just going to simulate to the next week here, because you do not want to completely ruin your player's development. Yeah, so I'm hoping that they come through with that patch very soon, but I'm not expecting it to be this week probably. The game's only been out for a few days. Looks like one of our players has upgraded his development trait. I didn't even know that was possible. That's cool. And another player. Oh, Snowden. Wow. Okay, so we can upgrade our coach skills again. Yeah, I guess we would do defensive backs next. But let's get into this off-season training. See what this is all about. Wow, so we have a lot of players here with a ton of points to upgrade. Okay. And Josh Johnson was a player I'm pretty excited to upgrade. Yeah, he actually has pretty good skill caps. He could become really high overall, so we're going to definitely upgrade his accuracy a few times here. Pretty good. That gets him all the way up to an 83 in accuracy 1. Well, and I'm seeing a lot of players here who have quite a bit of skill points to upgrade, so let's see what we could do with some of these returning players on the roster. We do have Damian Clinton here, who I believe was a 59 overall. Let's see what they can bring him to here. All right, and I would say that's pretty good. We got him all the way from a 59 to a 74. And yeah, we'll go through this with a lot of players on the team. We have a lot of guys in the 50s right now, so let's see what happens after we do this with a bunch of guys. Okay, and just doing that with the wide receiver core, we had a few guys that were in the 50s all the way up to the mid 70s for these guys, and you can see how much they're going up here quite a bit. This is kind of a cool system. I can basically customize how I want to upgrade players, and I do like that a lot more, I think. Okay, we have Ryan Blum here, one of the transfers we brought in. We can upgrade his pass blocking and run blocking a few times, and that would bring him up a few more overalls. Probably not really working on things like agility. I guess we'll get the IQ up. That does help lead blocking. Okay, so he's up to 75 from a 70. Pretty nice, and he's probably going to be a starter. Okay, and Philip Lee, I believe, yes, this was one of the 4-star transfers we got. He has 31 points to spend here. Okay, I'm thinking about, yeah, let's get that block shitting up to at least about 80, and then I'll probably put the rest of this into pass rush. And he already has a pretty nice tool belt, but we're going to make it even better here. Upgrading his power moves. Now he has 87 power, 88 finesse, pretty good block shitting. He has got a good amount of athletic ability. Pretty good. 85 overall transfer. Senior pass rusher there. Okay, this one's interesting. We have a 68 overall Seth MacFarlane, who has a ton of skill points to spend. He has 43 points. And I believe this is the guy who got a lot of playing time last season, so that makes sense. Let's see if we can upgrade his speed here. Get it up to 80. That makes me feel a lot better about having him in coverage and stuff. And I think McFarlane's going to continue to be one of our top kind of sub linebackers that we want in coverage. So let's just upgrade his coverage more, as well as maybe his awareness probably. Okay, yeah, get him to 81 zone coverage. Upgrade his play recognition one more time. And that is nice, bringing it up to 74. All right, then we have Smith Snowden, the big corner transfer, 4-star. Let's see. I think we can upgrade. Yeah, let's go ahead and do his man coverage a few times. See how high we can get that press. We have maxed out his man coverage there, so let's go with the zone. And I guess we can max out his zone as well, bring him all the way up to an 89 overall. I would say that's a pretty well-balanced #1 corner right there. And then we also have Nick Beckwith, who was on the team last year, only a 1-star. And this is typically what you're going to get with a lot of 1-stars. There's just nothing I can really do here to make him better. I can upgrade his coverage a tiny bit, but he's never going to get really over a 70-something overall here. He's just really never going to be a great player. Even with all those skill points, you won't be able to spend them pretty much. Okay, so we were able to upgrade our kicker and punter quite a bit. Plus, we also maybe will have a different starter at free safety this year, potentially. Okay, let's go to encourage transfers. We'll see if we have to cut any players, and yeah, it looks like we currently don't really have to cut anybody, so that's nice. Okay, and I don't think we're going to change conferences this year. Maybe the next season. We'll have to see how it goes in terms of the total progression of the roster and how good of a team we are. Okay, and taking a look at the freshmen we brought in, we have our 4 running backs. The 4-stars, we're pretty solid overall on the 70s here, but none of them are really like fast. Kind of unfortunate, but we have Rambo and Kennedy are both going to be kind of power guys, so I think we're probably going to move Kennedy to fullback, or at least play him at fullback this season. Yeah, so Sam Rambo has the star development. He has some really high skill caps. He definitely could be a very, very good player down the road, so that's nice. Then we have Miles Mayo in impact development, and also Kennedy. Kennedy is an impact development as well. And then we have these other 3 players, Humphreys, Azure, and Maddox. Those guys are all regular, normal development. We did bring in the one freshman receiver here who has impact development at least, so he definitely could potentially become something pretty good for us. And then we have that tight end we brought in, the blocking tight end. He's not that great. He has normal development, but he's probably going to start. We also have Bryce Handy at left guard, impact development. And then at left tackle, we have Bryce Handy, who does have impact development. He may potentially be a guy we look at redshirting. But what I'm probably going to wind up doing here is playing Falk and Tarascio. I'll put one of these guys at right guard, and then probably just won't play Max Collins-Davis. That way we'll have we just won't really have a weakness on this offensive line. Then looking at some of the other freshmen we brought in, we have Iosafa Bua, who has really high skill caps. He definitely could be a really good player as a rotational edge rusher for now. But down the road, there's definitely potential for him to become one of the best players on the team, probably. Not really so much for those D tackles we brought in. They both have normal development. And both of these linebackers have normal development. Then we have Oscar Chisholm, who's a little better, but still has normal development. But he may potentially be a starter down the road. And then we have Emmanuel Atwell, which I think was one of the guys we didn't even scout. We just added at the last minute. He is a star development. Really doesn't have a true weakness except block shitting, which is a very cheap thing to upgrade. So I'm pretty sure he will be getting on the field early and often. I don't think he will be starting, but I definitely could see him as the number 2 just because he's young, who probably will always be a backup to Atwell. Well, we'll see. Then looking at our cornerbacks, Ahmad Jr. and Dom Bond both have impact development, so I probably will redshirt both of them just to see if one of them really kicks off that development. And that's pretty much it. We have Daniel West, the safety with normal development. Wasn't really anything crazy. But yeah, I'd say overall it was a really good recruiting class, and I'm pretty happy with how it turned out there. Anyways, that's all I have for you guys. College Football 26 Air Force Dynasty off-season number 1 in the books. Got a pretty good recruiting class. Few big-time transfers that should help us out. And a few freshmen that will definitely be making some plays.